What's up, guys? Michigan Air Gunner. We're out here today with the AEA Terminator 30 cal, thanks to Terry Fox at foxairpower.com. And itchy eyeball. We're going to be testing slugs. I know we go out, we do testing, we always use pellets, but this gun is putting out over 100 foot-pounds. So the only pellet I brought with me today was a polymag. Other than that, we're going to be using FX 44.5 grain. We're going to be using Zons. These are 54 grain. We're going to be using NSA 49.5 grain. And we're going to be using JSB Knockouts 50 grain, or 50.15 grain if you want to be specific. And then for fun, we'll do the polymags, just because I know polymags like to shoot fast. So the question is does this gun like to shoot polymags fast? I've had this gun for a little while. I've had my difficulties with it already. When I got it, the air gauge quit working, and I blew out the O-ring in the barrel. Being a semi-auto, this has an 11-shot magazine. I think they should have made it a 10-shot magazine and then put a plug in that 11th hole, so you don't have the opportunity to blow out that ring with no ammo in the barrel. But yeah, that's what happened. Terry was out in the hospital, so I couldn't get replacement parts, and now we're out here doing it. I'm trying to beat the weather. It's dark and nasty. I have our target set down to 50 yards. I have my tank hooked up to the gun, but it's not constant flow. I've got it filled up to 3,600 psi, and I'm going to do 10 shot groups of each. And then we'll go back to the house if it's not downpouring and pour out some final thoughts. Alright guys, so first up we have the NSA slugs. And just because of I'm trying to beat the weather, we'll do all the shot groups and then we'll go down there and we'll check them out. Hopefully we're on target. I think that's it. Next, we're going to switch over to the FX. I did notice I was a little low, so I just kept the same shots. I didn't want to mess with it, but I am going to bump this up a little bit just to see if we can get more into the target. Alright, I'll be right back. Gotta reload. Alright guys, we're back. We're loaded up with the FX. I did only shoot 9 NSAs. So, sorry. Push my camera button. counted that time. Alright, so now we're going to go over to the Zan slugs and see how well those do. Alright guys, we are back with the Zan slugs. I'm sorry if this seems kind of rushed, but I mean it's 50 some degrees and it looks like it's going to downpour, so doing the best I can to get this out to you. We are filling this back up to 3,600 every time. Lost count. 3 more. Yeah. I'm trying to be real cautious with not dry firing it because I don't want that O-ring to blow out again. So that's why I'm taking the mag out sometimes, because I forget. I'm getting old. I forget stuff. But anyway, next we're going to go to the knockouts. Alright, we got our knockouts loaded up. I'm going to bump it over to the right a little bit because we keep shooting off to that side. So just to see if we can get more into the target. Oh, here we go. Oh, almost forgot. See, that's part of getting old. Yeah, I forgot count again. I can tell you, without that magazine in there, you can feel a gust of air just coming right back in your face. Alright, and then just for shits and giggles, we're going to try the poly mags and see how those work. Alright, poly mags. I guess what is nice is that you can actually fit the poly mags into these magazines. A lot of 30 cals out there you can't really fit these into. So, I mean, a lot of people like them, so maybe you should make more magazines to fit something popular like these. Just saying. Alright guys. Here we go. I miscounted one. So hopefully we didn't blow that O-ring out again. But per the norm, now we'll walk down and go see what we did or didn't do. Oh, I mean, it's a fun gun. Don't get me wrong, but so far I've had negative experiences with semi-auto. The S45 won't be coming out on my channel anytime soon. Much like a lot of you, I got the gun working and then a mag exploded. A slug actually shot out of the magazine, hit me in the face using all recommended ammunition. So I'm getting ready to send that back. It's just been busy. But all right, I'll flip you guys over. I'll flip you guys over and not hit the stop button. So let's look at the polymags. That was not so hot. So I mean, I'm pretty sure them polymags are going over 1,000 feet per second, because I know the NSA are going 950 something. But the Zans did pretty well. I mean, if we took our time, we'd probably get a little bit better. The knockouts after a couple rounds all kind of grouped up here. Again, not terrible, but not the best. The FX, those did pretty good. I mean, we got a couple that walked, but I mean, these are 3-inch targets, so I'd definitely kill a coyote at 50 yards. And the NSA, I mean, that's, again, it's not horrible. I think it's more or less how the gun operates. A suppressor may make it a little bit better with harmonics, but what you got to understand is every time you pull that trigger, it shoots air back down the shroud. It hits this little plug that pushes back the bolt and goes forward, and then you got a spring inside there. So there's a lot going on around that barrel to try to keep everything nice and tight. I have seen some better groups out of the NSA, but so far this is what we got. I know there's probably going to be other guys that say this or that will shoot better, but this is what I got. Shit's expensive. I paid for all this ammo myself, so I really hope you guys enjoy it. We're going to go back home and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about an accessory I have on the gun that Bison sent me, which is actually a pretty good, I guess you'd call it a tube am. But yeah, I gotta get this all packed up because rain is coming in. What's up, guys? We're back at the garage and we want to send a huge thank you to Terry Fox at foxairpower.com. He is the one that hooks us up with these to show you guys, whether it be good, whether it be bad. He's the one that sends these for you guys to see. First off, I want to talk about the negative that I've had with this gun. And this is not a Terry Fox issue. This is a gun issue. A lot of AEA guns come, and I know that shit happens. Some of them work great. Some of them don't. I know it seems more often than not that it happens with AEA guns, but it does happen with other guns. My first problem was this fill gauge quit, or not the fill gauge, the air gauge quit working. Not a big problem. I just used the air gauge on my tank, left it hooked up. I was out there recording a video for you guys, and then I dry fired it because I wasn't counting my shots. I blew this O-ring out, and then my groups were all over the place. So I decided to let the air out of the line, pull it out, and then all of a sudden I was leaking air from the fill port. I know, it was a day. But anyway, I got it home, and after a little while I talked to AEA, I talked to Terry. Nobody quite knew why it was doing that until I just got bored. I took it apart and started looking at it. These guns are relatively simple. There's not a lot going on in here. But inside here is basically the same setup as your fill probe when you put it in there. It's just hooked onto the tank. And if you look inside that middle hole, you'll see a little tiny screw. And if you take that screw and tighten it in, then back it out 2, maybe 3 turns, even if it isn't this gun, if it's a different gun leaking from here, that fixed everything. It's just somehow that screw backed itself out enough to let all the air out of this tank through the fill port. So that is the only negative I have. That is, all these issues are fixed. Terry sent me a new gauge as soon as he was out of the hospital. I ended up finding a O-ring in my pile of gun parts that worked. So, I mean, everything's pretty good with it now. The semi-auto function has not given me any problems. And I sighted this gun in originally with an ATN scope using NSAs, because the NSA slugs come in a box of like 200. So I had more of those to burn than anything else. And now I only probably have a handful left. I know we've put more than 200 rounds through here. And the magazine and the bolt have given me 0 issues, 0 jams. Unlike another gun I know. I'm not getting into that. But, what else can I say? Accuracy. The accuracy with a semi-auto like this is not going to be the same as a bolt action rifle. You are not going to get the accuracy like a bolt action rifle, just on the fact that there is a large spring in here and a plunger. So when you shoot, air comes up, then air comes back down. It pushes that plunger that is on a rod to recock the bolt and then shoots back up. So all this is going on as you're pulling the trigger. So I'm pretty sure if you set this up to see the harmonics of it, you would probably just be like, what the shit. I've got better groups putting my Donnie FL on here, my Ronin, just because it helps weigh it down a little bit. But this test was all about this gun, nothing else, with slugs. All the slugs I bought and paid for myself. So what you get is what you get. This is not the stock that comes with it. This is a stock that I put on it because I liked this stock on a different gun, so I borrowed it for now. But that's a whole nother story. Also, you can put the rear tank on here if you get one and have twice the amount of air. Terry Fox does have a chronograph video up if you want to watch that, because I didn't have time to get it done. Also, Bison has sent us this barrel band to test. A tri-rail tube clamp, I guess you call it, or tube band. Everybody says barrel band and this and that, but it's not. It only goes on the tube, so we'll call it a tube band. This is made to fit on any 52 millimeter air tube. It does not come with these rails. You have to buy those separately. Underneath these rails are nylon screws that you use to tighten it to the tube. Testing this, because, I mean, you can't really test too much with these bands. They either work or they don't. So I decided to go with durability test. And he was not happy when I told him what I did, but it survived. What you are supposed to do is take this clamp, sand it down on the inside until it fits snug, and then you tighten up your nylon screws. So what I did is I just sanded it till it was a little cleaned up, lined it up, smacked it on with a 2x4. I smacked the sides with a 2x4. I smacked the other side with a 2x4. Just to get it all nice and lined up pretty the way I wanted it. And then I told him I hit it with a 2x4. He wasn't happy. But the conclusion is it did not break. It did not crack. Everything's held together. These have steel screws that screw into the plastic, so if you tighten those too much, you will strip that out. But if you tighten it snug, you shouldn't have an issue, because I really haven't had an issue with it. This is still all nice and tight down here. It's really a great product for what it is. I wish it was cold, because then I'd leave it outside and see if the plastic cracks. I'm not going to stick my gun in the freezer because my girlfriend will probably get mad at me. But we could. Just saying. Other than that, guys, it's a really great tube band. It's a weird saying, tube band. But the only thing I would personally like, because I'm allowed to have my opinion, is I would like these just to be 3D printed on there instead of having the extra expense. But not my shop, not my rules. It is still a really solid, awesome product by Bison. But we will continue testing it until something breaks, and I'll let you know. Or if nothing breaks, I'll let you know. But until next time, guys, keep shooting, and we'll see what else we can get.